So you're either thinking of putting an offer on a home or you're looking at an offer. So you're either thinking of putting an offer on a home or you're reviewing offers and you're wondering, what is all this talk about contingencies? I'm Kristi Wampler with Nebraska Realty, and this video is brought to you today by my free Ultimate Moving Checklist. So I hope you'll check that out. The link is down in the description, and I just love it. As somebody has moved more than 30 times in my life, this is something that I would have loved to have had, especially since making moves with kiddos. So make sure to check that out. My favorite part of it is the clickable links to the various different utilities in the Omaha area. It just lets you kind of hop over when you're viewing the PDF version of it and makes it really easy to go ahead and switch those things over for your move. So there are several different types of contingencies in real estate. And we're going to talk through 4 of the most common ones today. So stay tuned. Okay, so these 4 common contingencies in real estate. We have appraisal, we have inspection, we have the home sale contingency, and then we also had the financing contingency. So let's start first with the appraisal contingency. Basically what this means is the offer that you're making or the offer that you're looking at accepting is contingent on the feedback from the appraiser on the value of the home. So there are some times where the appraisal might come back and it'll say, well, this home is valued a bit less than what the offer is that's on the table. And so that's going to affect what the bank is willing to finance. So for some buyers, that's going to impact whether you can even go ahead with the offer. And sometimes it just means that the buyer needs to have X amount of whatever the difference is. They have to have those funds available as part of the closing costs. And they'll need to be able to bring that cash to the table. Secondly, we have our inspection contingency. And kind of just how it sounds is basically if the inspection is done on the property, then the buyer has the option to kind of offer sort of a counter offer or an amendment to the offer that they initially made of they would like for X, Y, and Z to be done. And so it kind of opens up that opportunity to go back and forth a little bit. Just for example's sake, if the inspector says, okay, the roof really is kind of not in great shape, the buyer might say, okay, well, I really love the house, we'll have the roof done. Or they might come back and say, well, we want that either adjusted in the price of the house, or we want to look at having that done before we go ahead and meet at the closing table. So as the buyer, it's just kind of allowing you that flexibility and wiggle room to make adjustments once you get information back from the inspection. And also being aware of what things you could be walking into as the home buyer. From the seller side, definitely consider looking at having a pre-inspection done. Sometimes this can ease buyers' minds a little bit, especially depending on what type of market you're in. And it can also help move the process along more smoothly. Third would be your home sale contingency. And that's a pretty common one. The way the market is right now in 2022, you don't hear that one too much. You don't hear any of these too much, to be frank. But as far as home sale contingency, that's basically where the buyer is saying, okay, we love your house. We want to put in an offer on it, but our offer is contingent on the sale of our home. It's a situation where they are not able to carry 2 mortgages, and so they're needing to wait on closing for their home before they're able to close on the second home. And that can even happen the same day, which is something that we did on our current home. But just a contingency to be aware of. A lot of things can happen with offers that are made or accepted or whatever the case may be. And so, different types of financing might impact the length of time for that. But talk with your agent, have that conversation, and be willing to negotiate. Maybe from the selling side, there are some changes that can be made to kind of make that a more solid proposition. Like maybe there's more earnest money involved or something of that nature. But your agent can advise you on just some different options that you can include when you're making those counter offers and having that initial conversation. If you've hung around this long and you haven't clicked the like or subscribe button, make sure to do that down below. It just helps YouTube know how to share this information with other people who might be looking for it. And also the subscribe button, that'll get you notified as soon as a new video comes out that might help you in your home buying or home selling process. And then finally, and fourth, is our financing contingency. And that's basically saying we're making an offer, we're putting in an offer on a home, but it is contingent on us being approved for financing. We'll advise buyers, let's set up a meeting with a lender and get you pre-approved. This way, it's just one thing, another box that is checked, and something that you're not going to have to worry about later. And this is a great general practice, regardless of what the market is like. If you're seriously looking, why not just go ahead and go through that pre-approval process? It'll speed up the process on the back end, and it'll also just kind of settle your mind. It gives you a better idea, a better picture of what your monthly payment will be, what you can afford, what fits in your budget, what fits with maybe your credit rating and some of those things. So definitely something to consider regardless of what the market looks like. I'm Kristi Wampler with Nebraska Realty, and don't forget, I'm here for your family.